yourself and you'll agree. We must change and not repeat our history. If you still can't see it yet, you're still blind. Better open up your heart and your mind. Look around and pick the signs of the time. See His glory in the trees and the sunshine. Yeah.
What going on? I wanna scream to the top of my lungs. Miseducators, then they play us like we dumb. That's R-E-S and we are done. Now that scream becomes a war cry. Oh my, should've stopped this hatred the first time, fourth time, or 44th time. Lost count, can't read between the lines. Mastered greed would cause your soul to reap the fire. Press another race, your future's high.
Well, peace, everyone. I hear it's been kind of active out here on these YouTube streets. Wow, some things I hadn't expected. Ooh, wee, yeah, some things I had not expected. I'm gonna give my unsolicited advice or my observations, if you shall. If yeah, I think I said that right. If you shall, if I shall. Anyway, wow. I was thinking about war. I was thinking about when people go to war, and I think about the casualties. A lot of times they would take the kings, hold them ransom, and just kill their seeds and unalive their seeds and their entire lineage. They would just take them out, or they would burn their houses, their villages. Who they were wicked. They were wicked, you all. Yeah, it's a lot going on. I'm gonna talk about a few things, but yeah, I notice in every war, the casualties, it's not just those that are fighting, but those that are around the fighters, if you will. Like I said, a lot of times families, they become casualties. I think about Vietnam. I think about so many wars that we had no business in. We had, let me say that again, we had no business in some of these wars. I think about Palestine and Israel. I think about so many wars. And I think a lot, all is vanity, as the good book says, all is vanity. Sometimes our leaders, I hope you can read through the lines. Sometimes our leaders, they're filled with vanity. They must be seen. They must, it's the biggest, what, competition. And unfortunately, they take their countries along with them. And what happens? What happens? Little by little, cities are destroyed, countries are destroyed, and people are destroyed. Such as in the YouTube community. Yeah. You rarely see me, but I'll come and I'll drop a few gems here and there. But the YouTube community, I think about it as cults now, with cult leaders. I've seen, and I've been around a lot of the cult leaders. If I could break down, and one day I may break down How to build a cult. Ben's thinker. Peace. Peace and power. Thank you for coming through. How to build a cult. Well, Eligio, he taught us well, didn't he? And he's also he's continuing his cultism, but he's wearing an orange jumpsuit now. But in the YouTube community, I have to ask one question: is it worth it? Is it worth it? Trying to prove that we are who we say we are. Trying to prove it to people that don't matter, that do not pay our bills, that do not sleep with us. Does it matter? I have to question. I have to question sometimes the the thinking patterns of our content creators. If we consistently see that there's doxing, there's swatting, there's all kind of wickedness on this red app, then why do we keep entertaining it? Why do we keep falling for the traps and the snares? It goes back to cult mentality. You have good enough leaders and you will start you start believing. You'll start believing, you'll start following their lead, and before you know it, you've ruined your life over people that really do not care about you whatsoever. Now, as far as what is going on right now in the writer community, hmm, it's strange because on one hand, that's my man, that's my brother, this and that, and then the other hand, I've been setting you up all this time, and then that this never ceases to amaze me because maybe I was brought up in a different generation, but what you did behind closed doors, unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't work, right? But what you do behind closed doors stays behind closed doors. A lot of people have asked me about certain content creators, and I've never ever heard them repeat anything that we discussed, except for one. I talk to many content creators behind the scenes, and no one will ever know what we discuss. I think that is character. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, Grandma Love, but that's character. See, it would be easy for me to drop bombs all over the place, but where is my character? What am I trying to prove? Is the question. When you put your family in harm's way, wow, I think that we all need to step back sometimes. I think we need to step back sometimes and we need to start protecting our families. That is what's most important. Not people you will never meet most of the time, 99% of the time. Some of the content creators they have met in real life, but in actuality, um, are you ever going to meet them? And so, why are we going to war? This is what it's about. Why are we going to war with those we will never meet? Why are we protecting those we will never meet? We call ourselves family. No, no. Your families should be the ones that are in your circle that have your blood. Your daughters, your grandchildren, your cousins, your uncles, your nephews, your nieces, those are family. YouTube, those are associates. Now I may throw around family here and there to get a reaction, but I've always known and I've learned how to play a certain game, you all. It's a very, very old game. And it came from Egypt. It's called Hounds and Jackals. I think about the hounds and the jackals that are going to war right now. They don't even know what the game is all about. They don't even know what the end goal is. They're running back and forth and back and forth. But unless you know how to play the game, You will always be running back and forth and around trying to prove something to someone that should not matter. Or is it just me? Grandma says, I got someone I talk to every day on here and with me, and she talk about it stays between us. Like you said, we were born and raised in different times. Exactly. And here's the thing, too, about talking to people behind the scenes, especially on YouTube and other social media outlets. Um, their actions will always prove whether you were right about them or wrong about them in your mind. Sometimes we don't listen to that small voice. I think it's the Holy Spirit. And that voice tells us, do not trust this person, do not trust that person, or feed this person some bull and see how quickly or when the opportunity arises, will they divulge things that you told them behind the scenes. Like I said, some don't even know how to play the game. Let me tell you what I plan on doing. I plan on doing what I've been doing, but moving a little bit smarter now. I know this app like I know other apps now. I know how they're played, how vicious they are. I think some of the end goals to the Hounds and Jackals, if you will, from ancient Egypt is to destroy those that you may be jealous of. You may not even admit it to yourself, but inside, there are a lot of jealous people on this app. As far as setting people up behind the scenes, all this, all that, oh no. Going behind the scenes gives clarity on some of the channel holders' true character. Exactly. Exactly. I always watch. I always watch. Even people, when people think I'm not watching, I'm still watching how they move. Yeah, yeah. But like I said to another content creator, it's not what people call you, but what you answer to. Is not how people treat you, but how you respond. You see, like I said in a previous video, you can call me this, you can call me that. I know what I should answer to. I know what I will always answer to. And it's not anything negative. It's not because I haven't fallen so low that I would believe lies and evil over what I know or who I know that I am on this planet and what I have to offer this planet. What do we have to offer our planet, you all? Let me tell you a beautiful story. That's why I move like I move, because I learned a lot being on this app. Tell you something very beautiful that just happened to me. I do a little exercise. I always try to go by the lake every day. And today I was walking, and um, I'm very active with the homeless in my city. And they're always looking out for me, even when I don't know that they're looking out for me, right? So, of course, I feed them, I clothe them. I don't need accolades, is what we're supposed to do for our people. But I was lost in thought. I had my earbuds on. I wasn't aware of my surroundings. And this is a very busy street, but I forgot that, you know, when it's very busy, that's when you become a Vic, right? So before I knew it, one of the homeless men, he ran up to me and he grabbed my arm. Now, with anyone else, they would have screamed for the police. But because I know them all, I know their history, I know how they got to where they are and where they're trying to go. I wasn't shocked. I wasn't frightened because I knew that if he had jerked my arm, there was something that he needed me to see. So I said, "What's going on?" He said, "You almost got, but I was watching you." He said, "We all watch you out here, especially when you're not with your beloved. We always watch your back." He said, "Yeah," and he pointed to him. I said, "Wait a minute. I've never seen him before." Now, like I said, I know all of the homeless people. I know all the jackers, so on and so forth, right? You get to know your neighborhood. I said, "I've never seen him before." He says, "Because he doesn't belong in this area." Isn't that crazy? He said, "Because he doesn't belong in this area. He belongs over there. It's another area." I said, "How do you know?" He said, "Because they are moving in and they are doing certain things in certain areas. I'll just put it that way. He said, but you never have to worry on this block because I always got your back. See, it's something about having real warriors, y'all. When you least expect it, it's not always going to be those that are on YouTube. Sometimes it's going to be those that are on the street that know that you are a queen. It's I've I've been in some of the roughest neighborhoods in Chicago. I mean, bad, bad. Do you know wherever I go, and I couldn't understand this, and I had to ask a young brother one time. Every time I would go in a different store, they would say, "Hello, Queen. Come on in, Queen." I said, "Why are they? Why are they?" And so finally, I asked him. I said, "Why do you keep calling me Queen?" He says, "Everybody does because you stand out because you have a light. You have a light about you." He said, "Don't stop what you're doing for this neighborhood. Don't stop what you're doing because they know." They know that city halls and so on and so forth, I show up, I show out. They know. I said, wow. I said, so I have to act accordingly. I have to act accordingly. I have to own up to that name. My goal, especially in the revolution, is to become a queen mother. That is, someone called me queen mother one day, but it is not official. That is what I'm waiting for. That's when I know that my work has not been in vain. If you want to go to war, you all, talking to my brothers now, even if we fall out, at one time you were still my brother. Omega Sunlight, you are a righteous brother. We've talked a few times behind the scenes. You have never faltered. ZX, we have fallen out, whatever, but you were still my brother. MBK, you are still my brother. We have more important things out here to deal with. We cannot lose our souls. We cannot lose our vision for our cities, for our children. We must set an example for them, you all. We have to. We have to stop sometime and say, you know what? I don't want my children saying this. Imagine some of your children that will find out about some of the things that you've done that has been out here now. It's been told everywhere. Imagine having to sit down with that child one day and say, wow, mom, dad really screwed up. We got to get it together, you all. I'm going to pray for all of my brothers and sisters, whether we have fallen out, whether we are still tight to the writers, to all of the different sectors. I'm praying for everyone. That's it. That's all.